Hey, good afternoon, y'all. I'm getting a head start and doing my video fairly early. It is a nice day out. It's a little chilly, but sun came out today. Not too cold and wet, that wet, icy coldness. So, I'm feeling pretty good. I had a pretty chill day at work, honestly, and I just kind of wanted to get a jump on this video because I have a lot of things I have to do today or want to do today. I'm tricky about that language, saying, "Oh, I have to." I'd rather say, "I'd like to," instead of the shoulds or the needs. I have a lot of things that I have a lot of energy, and I'm like ready to do some important things today. So today, 1 year ago, our good Unis Honest boys, Mark and Ethan, made a terrific video called, simply titled, "We Eat Bugs." And y'all, I love this video. I know it's like so messed up. I know it's so stupid, but it was so good. It was so great. Amy did such a great job of picking incredible products for them to try as well. And it was such a good video. They ate, I think they ate cricket chips, like a chip made with cricket flour, which I am actually a big proponent of us starting to use crickets and cricket protein in our human diet, because not only is it virtually as sustainable as farming black beans. Crickets, they're everywhere. And there's so much going on in the food industry now with sustainability. And I mean, I don't have this facts and data right in front of me. I'd love to look into it a little more, but if we can move towards using more sustainable protein sources that aren't beef and livestock and all that sort of thing. I have nothing against eating beef. In fact, I think I have plans to have a nice tasty steak tonight. But I think it's really important for us to take into account and to implement and popularize and normalize eating unconventional protein sources. And because Americans eat, I'm gonna try not to talk about this too long, but Americans eat a lot more protein than we actually need to. I think it's 60% of Americans eat nearly twice as much their protein requirement or necessary dietary allowance, whatever. But it's a lot of Americans that eat a lot more meat and protein than we actually need in our diet. We eat a lot more carbs and other crap too. But I think it's because we are very meat centric. If you go to, I think, the Mediterranean diet, their meat protein sources are from fish and beans and things, and there are a lot of plants that actually create a complete protein between the two of them. Beans and rice create a complete amino acid profile between the two that you don't need meat or chicken or beef. I digress. But anyways, so they did the chips that were made with cricket flour, which I think I've seen things like that, and I think they look really good and really tasty. And even I'd even be down. I think there's some places that do kind of the fried cricket or something, just straight up like popcorn. Not opposed to that. Maybe I'm just an adventurous eater. There's that, and there's, gosh, what else? They went in a certain sequence, I think, because Amy intentionally picked what she thought was the most palatable and then went into this more intimidating bugs. So it was the cricket tortilla flour, and then there was, I think they did the candies, the lollipops that have the scorpion in them or whatever. And Mark's was ones with ants, but he found, he was the thing that's most disturbing about this is it's several different ants in this, but some of them, their segments are separated. This poor ant got just, fall to bits while it got turned into candy. Oh man, that's a death we would wish on Mitch McConnell. Okay, sorry. Bad joke. Whatever. My brain's everywhere. We're gonna leave it. But Yeah, so they have the lollipops. And I don't even think they got really to the bug part. They were kind of more commenting on like the aesthetic of it. And then they had the little like fried ants or little roasted ants or something, little crispy boys. And it was kind of like a, I think they said like, you don't really tell you're eating a bug if you just eat it. It doesn't really like feel like a bug or taste like a bug. And then I think they moved on to, I don't know if there was another kind of intermediary larger bug, but then they had, Mark had like the water beetle or something, which is a pretty big and kind of like icky looking fried bug. And then Ethan had, I don't know, I cannot remember what kind of bug it was, but this big fuck off bug that like was like dried and roasted and whatever. It was supposed to be like barbecue flavored, I think. And this was such a good part of the video because like Ethan like just kind of loses his shit shortly. Like he goes for it and he does it, but like he jumps up and he like shakes his arms and he does like all this stuff to try to get through it, and like I think he like makes noise or whatever. Because it's like it is like a, and they talk about how it's kind of a mindfuck to like eat bugs, like to eat like it's, the flavor, the texture, it's dry, it's whatever, but like when you think like, oh, I'm eating a bug, like, oh. So I think that's very interesting. And like, so speaking of like making things societal norms, lobsters, for example, used to be called cockroaches of the sea, and they actually, I think it was like illegal to feed prisoners that were in the like East Coast, like Maine in that area. It was illegal to feed lobster to prisoners more than 3 times a week, like way back when the states were becoming a thing. And that's so interesting now. It's become like this delicacy. And I wonder how other parts of the country view things like, what do they call those crustaceans? Lobster and crab, it's, oh, it's such a delicacy. It's like, oh yeah, crab cakes, crab legs, and lobster tails. Oh, it's so good. And it's like, but that used to not be the way it was. It used to be as disgusting as eating bugs. So I think that's a very interesting idea as well. And I just kind of wanted to touch on that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm like kind of forgetting. Oh yeah, I actually have an interesting fun story about bugs of my own life. So I used to study at University of Missouri in Columbia, or Mizzou as it's more popularly known. And for a biology lab, we had to measure like the basal metabolic resting rate of cockroaches. And to do that, we had to put them in these little bottles that would measure their oxygen intake or CO2 outtake or something of that nature. But like, this was a lot of fun for me, and this is, to me, is a fond memory of my university days. So we were all in this lab, and there was this container, this like kind of aquarium sized glass container, full of these Madagascar hissing cockroaches. Not like full, sorry. There was like 8 cockroaches in this. So it was just teeming over with roaches. But there was like these Madagascar hissing cockroaches in here. And it was interesting because like all the like female or AFAB people kind of hung back and just by their lab benches. And all the guys were like trying to like psych themselves up for, because you had to pick one up and put it in the bottle to then measure the metabolic rate. And these guys are all standing around this aquarium and they're all like trying to psych themselves up. They're like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my shit. And like all this stuff. It's just so funny. Because I was like, are y'all just standing around? Are we all just talking about how we're going to be putting these cockroaches in bottles? I'm going to start putting cockroaches in bottles. So like I take like my bottle and I pick up a cockroach and I like help everybody else because like I think everybody was like freaking out. I think I may have dropped either the first one or the last one. I remember like dropping one and having to go and catch him before he scampered away. And they're called Madagascar hissing cockroaches because there's like this little bit in their trachea or something where if they are agitated, they sort of exhale and it makes this kind of noise, but it's not like they're like actively hissing at you and they're pissed off or anything. Like that's just a thing they do. But anyways, so that's like kind of my experience with bugs other than like pretty standard stuff like, the occasional basement centipede in your childhood home or whatever, like, yeah, that happens too. But that's all that really jumps out to me that I have to talk about it. For the tribute, though, I am going to drink what some people call Starbucks swamp water. This is any sort of iteration of an iced tea with matcha in it, and it makes this lovely color. I'm sipping on this. Don't knock it till you try it. I know it looks disgusting, but actually some combinations are really good. Today what I did was a green iced tea, and I did the guava juice and the mango dragon fruit refresher base. And then just, I think I just did one scoop of matcha. I didn't want to go too crazy. Maybe I did two. I can't remember. But I'm certainly not trying to make a TikTok beverage. Honestly, not too hard to make for a barista. But you can do any sort of combination. Some people do just green tea. Some people do a green tea lemonade with the matcha. Some people will do the other refresher bases with the matcha. I wouldn't recommend it with the strawberry side refresher base though, because then it will turn brown. But the mango dragon fruit and it'd probably be good with the kiwi star fruit as well. And the very berry hibiscus are all good. Green tea is fine. Black tea would probably be okay. Passion tangy might get a little funky there. But anyways, so I'm gonna enjoy this beverage. I got a lot that I got to do today. I want to get a run in. I'm like really stoked, and I have like some cleaning that I've been like putting off and putting off and putting off, and I'm like, I'm ready to go, man, and I'm so happy. So I hope you all get a wonderful burst of energy today. Psych yourself up to not have to eat or to pick bugs out of an aquarium tank, but psych yourself up for something maybe that's a little scary or a little out of the norm. Like I encourage you to do that today. I'm gonna try to stay psyched too. So I'll see you guys in the next video.